Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so normally times like this, I'd have the Lakers to talk about, but there's really nothing like the NBA stuff. I don't even know when USA plays again or who they play, but not really following that as closely as one would expect. But it is what it is. I told you guys that. The day is going well. I just came back from therapy. It was a little later than usual. We had a 3:30 session, so it's like 5:30 right now, and I just got off the bus right. 5 minutes before turning on the camera, this dude who was listening to this drill song. He kept playing the same song over and over and over and over again, man. Driving everybody crazy, man. I don't know, I think he was homeless and might have been a little out of his mind, but he just kept playing the same song. And it wasn't a very good one at that. And the song was like 30 seconds long. So we just keep being in a loop. It just kept saying the same thing over and over again. And he was eating away at my patience. But you know, and then on top of that, you had like different fragrances, not very pleasant ones. So today wasn't the greatest public transportation day for me. On the way there was some trouble with fragrances that didn't smell very good. People were not necessarily showering in this heat. And on the way back, we had trouble with that same problem. So I'm just like, Lord, man, these are the days where you really wish you had your own car. I miss my vehicle today, but you know, I ain't got no real complaining outside of that. Therapy is like I sent a video out there. It's about 6 minutes long, talking about how that went. It went well. You know, she wants to incorporate some things into my my routine. I was expressing to her what my routine looks like mostly. She said, how can we work some small increments of stress into your equation so that we can get you know, gain a resistance for more stressful circumstances. And I'm like, you know, it's not about me not understanding the fruit and doing that. It's just that everything I do, all of my operations are based on me trying to avoid incorporating stress into my life. So just the mere thought of doing that brings about a certain anxiety. But you know, just the same, you're forced to deal with stress one way or another. You don't have to want to deal with stress. It's more so preparing yourself for the inevitability of it and not letting things get so bad that you end up having to deal with it without having worked that process up, which makes something that could be potentially big feel even worse. So it's like, yeah, I get that. I've dealt with that, which is a vicious cycle for me, letting things get worse than they have to be, not building up the tolerance for said stress, dealing with the magnitude of both of these problems, and then trying to avoid it thereafter. So it's just a vicious cycle that never quite ends. But this is what getting therapy is all about for myself personally, is making sure that it does end. So that's what it is. What else? I bought some stuff. So the food that I found that I can eat, the calamari, breaded calamari, which seems to sit well with my stomach, is out of season. So I have to find something else that worked for me. And I tried some type of Target plant-based fake beef, and it worked out. So it tastes good, and it worked out with the brown rice. So hopefully I found something new that can carry me until calamari comes back around in seasoning. So it's just kind of how that goes, man. But yeah, that worked out for the first day yesterday. So we'll see how it carries forward. A lot of times things work out for the first couple of days, and then I have to try to throw it away, or I work with it for a week, and then my body rejects the next batch or something like that. So that's just the cycle of my eating issues. But it is what it is, man. That's one thing. And of course, you know, everything else is fine. Doing my routine, working out, and all this other stuff hasn't been a struggle. I'm starting to see myself lean down a little bit. Some of those issues I was telling you about with my appearance have gone down. Stretching more, working out, eating less bad foods. Didn't work any Mexican food into my equation over the last 3 weeks, and it's showing. I'm starting to see my little indentures in my stomach coming back. So I'm well on my way to where I want to be. Birthday's coming up very soon, 20 days from now, big 4-0. And you know, getting ready for that. So I don't know what that looks like, but the next therapy session I have is the day after that. So next time she sees me, I will be 40 years old. Even though I've been telling everybody I've been 40 for the last year, it is what it is. What else, man? I don't know. That's it for me as far as my own personal life is concerned. I ain't really got no complaints. Did some art. yesterday for about 2.5 hours while watching Academics interview with Young and Ace. That was a good interview. Academics plays stupid a lot of times, asking people questions that he knows can get him hemmed up, but I think he does it to be ironic more so than to actually get him caught up. If anything, he probably preps him for that line of questioning before the start of the video. He knows that that's like a talking point for that type of content, to where, oh, you a cop, oh, you federal act. It's like he wants people to say that about him, just like they say that about Vlad. People, see, the thing about this content creating thing is that the very thing that people think you stumble into is actually your intention. I don't create content like that, but I know how to, you know what I mean? I could extend my personality and exaggerate my personality to make it more entertaining and all that stuff, but that's not the lane I'm creating for myself, to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't necessarily do it. So when it comes to certain stuff like that, it's like the very thing that people complain about. Oh, your opening music sucks. Like, yes, they want their open music to suck so that you will then interact with the comment section and interact with the videos about your frustrations with the bad music at the beginning of their videos. Oh, he's trying to be a cop. Yes, he wants you to interact and say that he's being a cop so you will remember him for being federal rather than him actually trying to get the people that he has in his content in trouble. He wants you to think that that's what he is doing. And if it happens to do that, that's bad. But if it doesn't happen to do that, and he's able to convince everybody that it's what he's trying to do, then it's a talking point surrounding who he is. So these are the type of things that people, like the public, doesn't realize. A lot of stuff is done deliberately for your interaction so that you interact. But a lot of the stuff that you think is accident or just people being bad at what they do is actually them being good at what they do, knowing how to get your attention and get you talking about them, for better or for worse. So yeah, man, the clout chasing game is real, and I think Academics, of course, is mastered a long time ago. So I watched that interview, did some art while watching it, and yesterday made some pretty good pieces. And what else, man? That's really it for me, man. That's about all I got really for myself. Everything I have to really talk about, of course, is what's going on in the world and the various different things that I see in my phone that are pretty devastating. But it is what it is, man. You watch so much of the genocide and you understand that there are things bigger than your life, things going on that are bigger than your frustrations, and whatever you got going on is put into perspective every time you turn on your phone. And that's kind of what I have going on every day for the last 300 days, more or less. It's just understanding just how awful the world has become, or always was, but now is in our face. And I talked a little bit about what I saw there, Israel, and this actually made national news, which is I guess hopefully the beginning of something new. So you may have actually heard about Israel and their desire to free people who were working in the prisons where they were holding Palestinian men and SAing them. And they arrested these guards for doing that. And then there was an outrage from settlers who were unhappy about said behavior of them locking these people up for that, because they call them heroes, And essentially the footage that came out was a few of their officials and delegates were arguing about whether or not it's appropriate for anything goes type behavior in regards to SA people they deem are terrorists. And so that was deeply depraved and deeply disturbing footage. And basically, from what I understand, they did release those guards who did that to that man, and to God knows who else they did it to. They released them to keep people from being outraged about their imprisonment. And so that type of thing is what I've been paying attention to as of late, these last couple of days. Not really surprised, if I'm being completely honest with you. I would love to tell you I'm surprised by that or outraged or shocked, but no. When you see what I've already seen, that's not the worst of it. Like, yeah, that's deeply disturbing in the grand scheme of things, but that's not the worst story I've heard, nor is it the most depraved behavior that I've seen from them. Like, it's not. They kill babies. Like, it's not the worst thing they've done. So, you know, at this point, when you have no faith in them, you're not surprised when they display another version of the depravity that they ultimately engage in as a people, if I'm being completely honest with you. Just deeply, deeply disturbed society they are over there in Israel. And there's a lot of people here who share their thoughts, which is scary, to be honest with you. People who are more or less dual citizens of that place. And they walk around amongst us with a certain way of doing things, and then they go over there, and their humanity doesn't exist for Palestinian people. It is what it is, man. You know, when you come to realize that your own people were slaves, and that a whole nation of people thought it was pretty much fine, except for a choice few individuals who stood up against it. Everybody else was pretty much fine with it. You can see how an entire society can be depraved of their morality. You know what I mean? And that is the reality of it. Like, that's not the first time I've seen an entire people, display themselves to be lacking in humanity. It's not the first time at all. Like, and for people who understand the history of America, that's the behavior that this country has more than once shown at a collective time period where, for the sake of whatever the country was trying to do, it was universally understood that a certain people's humanity, it doesn't matter. Like, that's an American way. They did it to the Native Americans when they first got here. They didn't care nothing about those people's humanity. They did everything they could to psychologically and physically destroy those people, and everybody was cool with it. So it's like, it's kind of what Zionists do, really. They select whose humanity matters. None above their own, but some more than others will be discarded of deeply, and it will be universally understood and fine and rationalized by way of religion and, well, everybody who just agrees with that collectively. So for me to see what Israel's doing, I know a lot of people are like, oh, we're so shocked. How could a whole people just be fine with depraving people of their rights? Like, so you've never seen a mirror, America, huh? You don't know of your great-great-grandparents, do you? Because that's exactly what they were on when it came to my own humanity. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, if anybody's not surprised by what we're seeing, it should be black people. It's not new, unfortunately enough. So that's about all I'm willing to give it, man. People in our skin, you'd like to think they'd all be on the same page, but there are many people who have my skin color, some darker, some lighter, who really want to uphold Zionist white supremacy principles. Don't know why, but to our own detriment, we need to understand that. And so when they throw a black face in front of you and you get all in your identity feelings, so to speak, you got to understand that that is exactly what they should be trying to do to gather your support. Is they take somebody who's on their side that looks like you to toss in your face, so you'll think it's your duty to vote for that person. It's what anybody would do if they're in the grand scheme of things, when they're trying to gain the support of people that otherwise they wouldn't get it from. Make it about them. Make them feel it's about them. And they will fight everybody tooth and nail to assure that that person who's aligned with you, who looks like them, will be in a position of power that you want them in. And then by way of that puppet that looks like me or looks like them in this, you'll be in control. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I think we're seeing a lot of that on both sides of the spectrum, with Donald Trump and with Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? Neither one of these people, in my assessment of what I'm looking at, actually have their own policies in position of being extended. No, they are extensions of who lobbies for the government that they adhere to. And that is AIPAC, both sides. Israel, both sides. Whether it's Donald Trump or it's Kamala Harris, who you're really voting for is Israel. And so that's what you got to understand. And a lot of people, she's black, so I'm voting for her. It's like, no, you're voting for Israel. And they put her in place so that you would think that you need to vote for her because she's black or because she's a woman. That's what they're doing. So, yeah, for all my black folks who think they have to vote for Kamala Harris, when you go down this genocide rabbit hole, that is exactly the truth you're going to find. That is exactly the enlightenment that you're going to come to the terms with. That she's AIPAC. She's put there by the people who are fighting for the right to free people, who are killing children and sodomizing grown men and all of the different deeply, deeply depraved stuff. That's why it's like the lesser of two evils. It's like, do you understand who is behind this person and what it is they actually want to do? BDL 44. I thank you all for watching.